Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and today I am doing my Bibliothon TBR. I decided last night that I was going to try and do Bibliothon and it's starting today, so I'm going to try and upload this video today. It goes from this Saturday the 14th to Friday, so it's not a 7-day thing, which is kind of weird to me, and also I picked 7 books for it because I want to read as much as possible. But I work a lot next week, so we're gonna see how this goes, because I work really weird conflicting hours too. I'll work a night shift in the morning and then it sucks. But let's just get into my TBR. So for the first book, it is a group read that everyone's going to try and read, which is ironic because I literally just picked this up from the library a couple days ago, and that's The Wicked Deep by Shia Earshaw. This book I've been wanting to read really bad, so I was like, yeah, I'll totally read this. So that's going to be exciting. It's about a group of witches that were killed. There was 3 sister witches and they were drowned by the town. So every year in the summer they possess 3 girls from the town and enact their revenge. So that should be an interesting story to delve into. The next little challenge, because there's just a lot of challenges that you're supposed to try and accomplish, and you can use more than 2 books for them, but I only did that once, so I still have 7 books. My bad. So a book that's been on your TBR for over a year, and this I picked actually because the movie is coming out that looks super good, and I've always been thinking that I really do need to read it because I started it and got really far in, but then it just must have been at a time where I really wasn't in the mood to read. So I'm going to be reading The Darkest Minds by Alexander Bracken. I think we all know what this is about. It's been out for a year since really popular. It's about this apocalyptic world basically, or dystopia. Oh, I forgot the name of that for some reason. Where there was this big disease that wiped out most of the children, but the ones that survived got changed and they now have powers in 4 distinct groups. And all the children are being put in internment camps and things like that by the government, and the main characters escape and are trying to find their way to a colony where they can be safe and not controlled and systematically oppressed. So the next book is from someone else's TBR. So you're supposed to, there's a lot of ways you could do this, and I decided to just have a friend who was over last night pick out a book from my shelf that they want me to read. And this is also the book that I'm using for 2 things, as it's also my predicted 5-star read. And that is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This book has been catching my eye for so long, and I want to read it so bad, and it's so beautiful, and I'm really excited to get into it. If I was smart, I would have picked small books for this TBR, but none of them are small. They're all over 400 pages, I think. Maybe not The Wicked Deep, but a lot of them are, besides this next one. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult, but I'm gonna try my hardest. And even if I don't finish it in time, I just might make this a 7-day challenge for me, as I don't see why not. I can do what I want. I'm gonna try and do it in 5 days, but if I can't, I'm just gonna continue reading. And I'm gonna try and do little vlogs for each book, or for each day and things like that, and just see how well that goes. I'm really excited for this. So the next book is, okay. So the next thing I have to do is I have to read 3 chapters, the first chapter of 3 different books, and then decide which one I want to read. And for that, I picked books that have been on my TBR for a very long time, and books that I've been really wanting to read but I've never gotten to. They're all rather exciting, I think. I picked Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. We have Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. And then we have What I Thought Was True by Huntley Fitzpatrick. So we have some high fantasy and then a cute little contemporary, because this is my favorite contemporary author. Although I only read 1 book from her and I was a lot younger, but it stuck with me a lot, so I think that'll be cool. And then these have been on my TBR for way too long and I know they're good. So I'm going to go read the first chapter of them and tell you which book I am picking. Alright guys, so I just finished reading the first chapter of all 3 of these books, and I have decided that I am going to read Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. Honestly, it's probably because the first chapter of this book was the longest, so I got more into the world, and it just seemed really, really interesting. I really liked how it went. Like, I think that it takes place in the desert, for one. That's one of my favorite like locations for things, and it seems kind of like a cowboy sort of book, which I've never read one like that, so I think it'd be really fun to get to read that. I really, really liked What I Thought Was True, and I definitely am going to be reading this soon because it seems really interesting, and it reminds me of the first book so much, because I'm pretty sure it takes place in the same location. It's just been so long I can't really remember. And then I don't know, I didn't like the events that I only read the prologue. I didn't like what happened. I got kind of salty. I'm sure this is going to be a really good book, and I am also going to try and read it soon, because these are books that I just really do need to get done with, because I've had them for too long and I really just want to read them so I can move on to like new books. But I'm going to wait on this one and we'll read it later. But so I'll be reading Rebel of the Sands. The next category is a book you really want to read. And for that, I picked Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. It's the second book to the Truth Witch series, and I've been really, really needing to continue with it. Like, I really, really love the series, and I want to get into this book so bad and back into this world, so this is definitely a book that I'm hoping to read in this challenge. I love this series, and it's so beautiful, and I'm excited now. The next one is an Own Voices novel, and for that, I only actually have one right now that I haven't read, and that is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. So I'll be trying to read this one. If you don't know, it's about a guy whose ex-boyfriend died, and he's dealing with that loss because he was still in love with his ex-boyfriend, and he meets his ex-boyfriend's new boyfriend, and they kind of form a bond because they're both, heartbroken. So that could be a little bit interesting. And then the last category I have is The Last Book You Bought. And, I do want to read this one, but really not yet. So I feel like I'm going to be honest, this is the one book I don't particularly care if I end up reading. So, sorry. That is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. It sounds like such an amazing book. It's just not what I'm in the mood for. I have a lot of other books that I really, really want to get to, but it does seem really, really good. It's about two prophesized queen. One's the Sun Queen and one's the Blood Queen. They have all of the elemental magic, and one obviously will be bad and one will be good, but no one knows which, so they both go through a bunch of trials to figure out, except they're 1,000 years apart. So there's one that already happened, but you're finding out, how things happen and, why things happen the way they do, and one that's happening currently, and they're trying to figure out, if she can change things. And it seems like a really good book, and I kind of heard a lot about really interesting things in it, which does make it seem really good. I do want to read it. I'm just not excited about it as the other ones, because it is brand new, and I want to read the old books on my TBR first. That's just kind of how I am. So we'll have to see. But that is all for my TBR. And I will be starting with Rebel of the Sands just because I started reading it already and I'm really into it. So I'm going to start reading and see what I can achieve today. Wow, Jade. I'm excited. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave me a like down below. And if you're participating, comment some of the books you're reading or some of the books you think I'll really like. And I'll see you all in my next one. Bye-bye!